Hey, what's going on, guys? Justin with AmericanTrucks.com, joined today by Nick to talk about his 2015 Ford F-150. Nick is rocking the Fuel Maverick. It's a 20x10 with a negative 24 millimeter offset. Wrapped around the fuel is the Kenda Cleaver RT. It's a 33 by 1250, and then making that all possible is the Mammoth 2.5-inch front leveling kit. So, Nick, thank you so much again for joining me today, brother. Well, let's get right into it. What were you trying to achieve with your truck through this setup?
Since I was 12 years old, I always wanted a big truck. You know, that was my goal. So finally got out there and I found the Lariat. It's got the chrome and the black. So I thought it would look better with, you know, something to match the trim and the, you know, little accents on the door handles and stuff. And, you know, leveled and like 33s I thought was pretty good. And so I ended up going with that, and I'm happy how it turned out.
That's awesome. Yeah, we got the pictures and it looks killer. So you ever take the truck off-road at all? You get it in the mud a little bit?
Yeah, it's seen some dirt, seen a little bit of mud. I went through some pretty gnarly stuff. Nothing crazy, but got through fine. They held up, so.
Let's get right into the wheels first. The Fuel Maverick, it's a 20x10 with a negative 24 millimeter offset. Why did you go with the Mavericks?
Originally, I wanted some Methods, but I was scrolling through, and eventually I came across the Mavericks. And when I see the Mavericks on mine, I was like, yeah, those are definitely the ones there.
That's awesome. That's a great answer, man, because a lot of times guys are like, I don't know, I just like a black wheel or I just like a chrome wheel. This is kind of a little bit of both, right? You got, you're pulling in some of the chrome accents.
Yeah, I figured the best way to go, you know, I know a lot of I like the Baja style look, you know, the Raptors, obviously, those are great. But yeah, I think with my truck, the black and chrome, it looks good. It does it justice, so.
I would agree, man. Looks killer. So why'd you go with like a 20 as opposed to 17 or something like that?
I thought the 22s maybe just a little big for my taste, and then the, you know, 17, 18 just a little bit small. I thought the 20 was a good intermediate where it kind of blends the off-road look with some style to it without, you know, overkill. So
all right, so we got the Fuel Mavericks 20x10. We like the size. Let's get into the offset, because negative 24, that's aggressive, man. So why'd you end up going with that?
I know the term like the bulldog look has kind of been thrown around a little bit. I'll tell you what, offset was the hardest choice for me. I looked at, God, it feels like thousands of trucks. I was all over the place, but 44 was too much for me. And I like the aggressive stance. I think it gives it that nice like wide appearance, and it looks good with the tires poking out. I thought it fit the truck. It made it aggressive, but it, you know, again, it wasn't 44. It was huge, but I think it's a good offset, at least for the look that I have.
It just looks tougher, I think, right?
Definitely. It's got a little bit of off-road to it, you know, but without being like crazy overkill. I think it's a good mix, you know. I like it.
Nice. Now, the byproduct of that, and let me know how bad this is, when you have that kind of offset, the side of the truck gets pretty tore up, doesn't it?
I've been okay. Nothing too major, a couple little scratches, but I think most of it will buff out. So probably looking at getting some mud flaps for it.
I hear you. And then again, I only bring it up because I like everybody consider that, you know, because if you're watching this at home and you love the look, as you and I both do, just be prepared that there is a little bit of extra stuff that comes along with that. The truck's always dirty on the side, and you might get a few extra rock chips. Well, let's get into those tires. Let's talk about the Kendas a little bit more. You went with the 33 1250 R20. We talked a little bit more about that at the beginning, but remind us again why you honed in on those 33s.
So my buddy's got a 2018 XLT, and he's got 35s on his with his regular wheels. I thought 35s have been a little bit too much. Like, all right, I'm going with an aggressive stance. Might as well size it down a little bit. If I end up going with a lift kit down the road, I'd probably up them a size. But yeah, I think right now with the level, the 33 is probably as big as I want to go.
I hear you, man. Well, tell me about the tires themselves. Are you happy with how they ride? Is it a quiet ride? What do you think?
They perform great. I got through my first winter with the truck. I right through the snow, no problems. It didn't slip up too much. I mean, you know, my opinion, I think they're great for the price. In the rain, it gets a little slick. I'll say that. But other than that, they've been good. I like them. So road noise is okay. Obviously, it's aggressive tire. You hear them, but it's not overkill. I mean, with the windows up, it's really no big deal.
That's awesome. And you're in Massachusetts, so you definitely see a good amount of snow, and said no problems there, right?
Oh, yeah, no. Snow was great. I was actually really impressed with the snow performance, braking, everything.
Well, let's get into the suspension, because, again, I think it's a very popular method that a lot of owners take, including yourself. You went with the Mammoth 2.5-inch leveling kit. Why'd you end up landing on that?
I measured the rear wheel well to the ground, measured the front, you know, got my difference. It was 2.5. And then, I looked on the site. Mammoth had great reviews for the price. I mean, it was perfect, worked out, so.
That's awesome, man. Now, with that leveling kit and your current wheel and tire setup, is there any rubbing at all, lock to block or anything?
It did hit the crash bars a little bit. I ended up taking a hydraulic ram actually with my friend, and we took the wheels off, and we basically put two ends of the ram on each side of the crash bars. We just spread them out, and it's pretty good. I get the smallest little bit of rub at full lock, nothing crazy, but without the ram, they definitely rubbed a little bit. I probably noticed about a maybe 15% increase after I spread them out.
That's a good method too. I think a lot of people think, oh, I just got to hack them out, and that's not always the case. Like you said, you get a jack, a hydraulic jack, or a ram, and just spread them ever so slightly, and sometimes it gives you just the amount you need. Well, so we got a little bit of rubbing. That's not the end of the world, though. As far as with the truck lifted, how's the ride quality?
It's not bad. It was a little, it's a little stiffer over the stock wheel and tire setup, obviously with the stock suspension, but it's really not that bad. Go over bumps, you feel them, they're there, but nothing crazy. I'm sure a full suspension kit would obviously be better, but I can't complain. No complaints. It's definitely tolerable. So
that's awesome. Well, a couple more questions. Would you have done anything differently with your current setup?
I don't think so. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. The only thing I could think of is maybe just going with the lift kit, but honestly, I'm happy with how it looks now. So
that's a good segue to my next question. What about future modifications?
I thought about down the road maybe doing like a 3 to 4 inch lift with 35s, just basically keeping the look I have now, just kind of bumping it up just a little bit. But we'll see, it kind of depends. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it, so we'll see.
Well done. It looks great. I love that you didn't just go with like a straight up black wheel or something like that. You worked in some of the chrome accents. Listen, a lot of guys want to get rid of the chrome. I like how you embraced it, and it looks killer, man. So well done. So there you go, guys. That was Nick again with his 2015 5-liter F-150 20x10-inch Fuel Maverick wheels with a negative 24 millimeter offset. The Kendas, the 33 by 12.5 tires, and it's all riding on the Mammoth 2.5-inch leveling kit. So Nick, thanks again for joining me, brother.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.